So in this video, I'm going to talk about CSS transitions, and that will be the last part of animations in CSS. So have you noticed something? Like, we did something called hover states, right? These are basically like keywords that you can use and to define certain states and then give them some CSS properties. So for example, like if you're looking at a button, right? Let's say click me, all right? And I am going to remove all of this and I'm going to give this button some styling. Let's say button, and I want this button to have a background color of black, right? And text color should be white, right? Let's say font size should be, let's say, 15px, right? Let's say padding is 10px, all right, and margin is, let's say, 10px as well. Now if I save it and I go to my page, right, this is what it looks like, right? And I can click on it, right? But let's say what I want is that on hover it turns to kind of like a light blue, all right? Background color is, let's say, oh yeah, there is no space here. Let's say button color is light blue and text color is white, right? So if I save it and if I hover on it, nothing's happening. Did I do something wrong? Button. Hover. Yeah. So yeah, if you can see, oh, we need it to be black. Let's say black, right? And if I reload it, yeah, as you can see, when I hover on it, turns to like blue and text changes to black. But there's something off about it. Like, it's very instantaneous. Like if I immediately go to it, it just turns like immediately into that blue. While I would rather have some sort of easing property here, like the animation here should be um, a little bit delayed, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this property, and we are going to say transition, and I want the transition to be like 1 second, all right, or let's say 2 seconds. Yeah, and I'm going to say ease out. All right, what ease out does is, so if I reload this, so it eases into that color. All right, let's say we'll reduce it to 0.5 seconds. I'll reload this. Yeah, this is still okay-ish. Let's say 0.25, 0.2 seconds, right? So instead of an instantaneous reaction to getting to the immediate color, it just changes to a specific state. So I think there's a beautiful diagram to it. So if I show you this diagram, yeah, so there is an initial state and there is a final state that you want to get to, and the transition property kind of adds intermediate states that are automatically calculated for it to get there, right? um, and there are other properties into it, but yeah, the idea is you specify a duration, you specify a delay, and yeah, that's how it works. But there is something that I want to get to. I'm not sure if I'll find it. Yeah, what is ease out and ease in out? So we'll ask Google about it. What is difference between ease out and ease in and ease in out in CSS transitions? right? So ease in out, the transition starts slowly and then speeds up. Transitions in ease out, the transition starts quickly and then slows down. In out, it has a slow start, speeds up in the middle, and then has a slow end, right? Yeah. So that's the idea of it. I wanted to check one more thing. Can you do this with keyframes? All right. And I'm not very sure about it. For instance, what I ideally want is, instead of transition, right, uh, at keyframes, hover animation, I'm going to say from background color of black, and color white. I want the animation to change to background color light blue to color black. Alright, and I'll remove this and I'll say in button, during button hover, I want this animation to play animation for, let's say, 5 seconds, just to see if it works, right? 5 seconds, and it should happen once over animation. All right, so now if I save it and I go back to my page, right, I've reloaded it. Yeah, it happens, it works. So basically 2 seconds, let's say we put it to 0.2 seconds again. We'll save it. So yeah, as you can see, it happens, but it resets the animation and then it doesn't happen. So the keyframe animation, the difference is that it goes in loops. So if we have to draw it out, so what happens is, let's say we are describing CSS transitions. So you have an initial state and you go to a different state, and let's say we have a blue color to it, right? So this is your initial and this is your final, right? So what it does is it takes you here. All right, so it's like this and like this, right? This one we can, right? It takes you to these through these states in a very transparent way, and you can just write within 2 lines how it operates. But a keyframe animation is like, okay, you have an element and it has timestamps all over it which define other different states, right? So on T1, so let's say on the first second, this is what should appear. On the second, this is what should happen. On the third state, second, this is what should happen. And at the end of all of this, it will just move back, right? So it just keeps looping between these, right? And if you don't loop it, it just ends. All right, it ends here and then it doesn't work anymore. So you can't, have this cycle happen on command. It has a trigger, and then it happens, and there is no on command keyframe. But this is more like anytime you keep on taking the trigger, it works, right? On CSS transition, there's a trigger and it works. On keyframes, once you click on the trigger, it's done. right? It's done and it's going to run on its own. There is no stop to it. So yeah, I feel that's the difference between CSS transitions and keyframes, and there will be specific use cases to each of these. For instance, CSS transitions will probably work, when you have to create like ease and out hover states for uh, you know cards or testimonials or like buttons. But when you want animations to be happening on a certain element with or without a trigger, keyframes will be much more useful, and you don't need to define states over there. So yeah, I uh, I think we are done with animations. The next part is responsiveness. I think that that's where we'll spend some more time, and then we'll move on to doing some few projects, right?